Hello, and welcome to Beering in Mind Beer Reviews. In our last video, we looked at a kind of iconic beer from the United States, craft beer called Samuel Adams Boston Lager. And today we're going to take a look at another Samuel Adams beer, and this is a called Rebel IPA, and it is an IPA at 6.5%. 45 IBUs. And this beer, kind of an interesting story for it. I apologize for the label. It had a discount on it, discount sticker. I tried to get it off. This beer is part of a special project at Samuel Adams, and what they do is reformulate the beer with hops that are newly available. For example, this beer was introduced in 2014, and in 2017 they redid the recipe to include some new hops, and the hops have the names of HBC 566 and HBC 682, which is a bittering hop. The original recipe for this beer had Cascade, Centennial, Simcoe, and Chinook hops, and now it also includes some Mosaic as well, and these other two new hops. So quite a mix of hops, and I guess the assumption is that in future years they will continue to do this to redo the recipe based on some new hops that have been developed and that they feel will work well in this beer. Boston Beer Company, of course, in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States. It's one of the older craft beer breweries. Began in 1984 and has since grown to become a huge company. The Brewers Association in the U.S., which is the Association for Craft Beer Brewers, has had to kind of stretch its boundary for the amount of beer allowable for a producer to be a member in the Craft Beer Association, and it's now currently at 6 million barrels, and Samuel Adams in 2018 produced 4.3 million barrels here. Of course, this is much more than the average craft beer brewery in the United States. So I think for some reason they want Samuel Adams to be in this association with them. In any case, shall we give this Rebel a go? And in addition, there's kind of a Samuel Adams regular Boston Lager has a kind of patriotic sort of iconography here, and this one, of course, does too. The idea is that the original patriots in the U.S. were rebels against the Crown of England. A bit of patriotic history, I suppose. Does not really apply anymore. Okay, so what do we have here? This is a light copper gold color, fairly clear, very fine carbonation floating up from the bottom there. And diminishing white head, kind of probably going to flatness pretty quickly. Aroma, kind of sweet, floral, rather big stone fruitiness. Some caramel maybe, or something sweet in there for sure. Mild tropical fruit. Touch of pine, I think. And a rather dry finish, bitter finish too, in fact. 45 IBUs, so fair to middle and bitterness in here, that's for sure. Medium body. To be honest, this doesn't really seem like an IPA to me. It seems more like a really amped up, hopped up pale ale, American pale ale style. It is very flavorful, pleasant aroma for sure. If it's an IPA, it could be considered maybe a sessionable IPA, even though it is 6.5%. It has a kind of, doesn't quite have the fullness of an IPA. In any case, it's a very decent beer, and I think it's one you should probably try at some point. Again, Samuel Adams Rebel IPA by Boston Beer Company. Give it a look. I found this, you can find this probably in many places in the United States. I found it in an Aeon Mall, that's A-E-O-N, Aeon Mall liquor shop here in Japan. So that's it for today. Please leave me a comment or subscribe to the channel if you'd like to get information about more different types of beers. I will be focusing mostly on Japanese beer, especially craft beer, but I'll look at all kinds of beers as well. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.